Hello, this is Jessica from truthathome.wordpress.com. Today I'd like to show you how I cut my hair. Well, I do it myself. I haven't gone to a beauty salon to have my hair trimmed for about 4 or 5 years. And that was when I got it cut right about down to here. And I had some layers, so there was some shorter areas of hair too. And in about 4 to 5 years, it's grown out about this much. I cut it myself because it doesn't cost any money, and I rarely give myself a trim anyways because I'm trying to grow my hair out long. So I'll show you how I do it today. And afterwards, we'll talk a little bit about why I have long hair. So basically, as you can see, I've divided my hair down the middle, and I have some bangs that I'm growing out. So just to take those out of the way, I put these clips on. Kind of divide my hair into 2 equal parts, and then I brush it smooth to where it's laying on both sides the same direction, like this. So it's laying the same direction. And then I'm going to have to back up a little bit for you to see. Then take my little scissors. These are actually sewing scissors because my hair trimmers got really dull. So I take my fingers down like this. Usually I do this in front of the mirror, so I can't see too well right now, until I have just about, let's see, can you see? That much. And then if I was in front of my mirror, I could see better. And then I just carefully trim off about a ½ inch while I still have it in my hand. And if I had started this video sooner, my hair would still be wetter, but okay, let's see. So maybe trim that one a little bit more. I trimmed about a ½ inch off, but I want to trim more like a ½ inch. And I'm letting the ends of the hair fall onto my counter so I don't make a huge mess here in the kitchen. Okay, so not much of a difference. It's just a slight trim to get the ends off, to give it, an even look. Okay, now let's do the other side. Trim out off about a ½ inch. Okay, let's see here. Oh, that looks pretty even, I have to say. Let's see. I don't want to take too much time doing this. If there is anything that you notice later that's uneven, I'll get it later. Okay, so that's how I trim my hair. It's pretty quick and easy. I don't like to spend a lot of time with hair care. I never really have, even when I was younger and I didn't have any children and I had more time. I never really spent too much time on hair care. And I usually did like to have long hair. And maybe that's why, because the longer your hair is, the longer it takes to do it sometimes, depending on what hairstyle you use. And if you go to the salon, depending on what you do to your hair, it can cost you more money. So I just, kept it basic. Okay, so now I'm going to part it on the side, how I usually do it. And I'm going to show you how I like to do my hair sometimes. Okay. I like to do my hair on the side, have a side part. I think it looks better on me. Okay. Here's one hairstyle that I like a lot because, as you notice, I have these bangs that I'm growing out. A few years ago, I had bangs, and I liked the way that they looked on me, but they kind of got in my face a lot, and I don't like to have stuff in my face. You know, I like to have my hair off my face and not in my face. So I'm growing them out. So basically I just get a little chunk of hair from the top here that includes those bangs, and I kind of pull it, slide it down to the side, and I just start to twist it downwards. And that way my hair that's growing out gets twisted into this roll, you could say, or coil of hair. And now this is going to look a little bit funny, but this is what I do to keep it still while I do the other side. Ah, there we go. It makes it easy for me if I just stick it in my mouth instead of using a clip. So basically now I have 2 rolls, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather them in the back. And I have one simple little black rubber band, and I'm just going to gather them together in the rubber band. Try not to get any of the other hair from the bottom of my head stuck in there. And then I kind of try to get that to lay smooth. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could just keep my hair this way. The only problem is that with little kids and having to lean over and help them, with a little baby and having to change her diaper, with having to do things like wash the dishes and other stuff like that, it's kind of impractical. Maybe if I was just going to go to the store or go out to eat with my husband or something, then I might keep it long, because then it wouldn't matter. But when I'm at home doing chores and other things, I need to keep it back. So, and I hope you got a good look at it when I turn around. Let me do that again so you can see it. I try to get this in the middle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, here's my hair thing, I'm going to divide it into 3 parts so I can do a braid. And I do my best to try to get this thing in the middle. Sometimes it gets a little bit off, and then I have to redo my braid after I look at myself in the mirror. So I try to kind of keep my braid close to my neck. And then when it gets too long to where I can't reach back anymore, I just pull it to the front. And I kind of pull down on my hair as I make the braid so it will, be kind of flat and smooth. Okay. And it's especially important when you're making a braid to try to make the parts even, because if they're not the even thickness, when you get to the bottom, you'll see a big difference. And it's slightly different, but it's not too bad. I usually don't go down all the way to the bottom. I just kind of do this. And I might need to fix my hair trim a little bit later when I can look in the mirror better. My computer screen isn't as good. Still not bad though. And then I brush that out. Not bad. Now, if I was in front of my mirror, I'd be able to look at the back, and as it is now, I can't see what it looks like, but I'm going to turn around so that you can see. And that's it. Now I have my hair back in just one single simple braid, and it stays out of my way. I mean, if I lean over, it might kind of fall forward, but at least it's just one braid that's falling forward, and it's not a whole waterfall of hair. And I just stick it back in the back like that. So I've showed you how I trim my hair. Every several months, every 6 months, I just give a little 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch trim on the end of it. I've also showed you a hairstyle that I like to use a lot because it's simple and it gets my hair out of my face and it's also pretty. Now I'm going to tell you why I have long hair. And for this, I'm going to read out of the Bible. And since I'm reading the Bible to you, I really feel it necessary for me to put my covering on. Okay. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, starting with verse 14, we read, "Does not even nature itself teach you?" Let me hold this in the front. That'll make it easier for me. "Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man has long hair, it is a dishonor to him?" And verse 15, "But if a woman has long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given to her for a covering." In other videos, I've talked about how I do not believe that a woman's hair is the covering that this passage of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 is talking about, because if you read through the whole passage, the most common sense understanding of what it is that is being talked about is that it is talking about a cloth covering such as this. These two verses that talk about the hair are simply supportive, that show why a woman wearing a head covering and a man not covering during praying or prophesying is in line with what nature teaches. So the nature argument, or the argument from nature, forms a supportive argument for why a woman should use a head covering such as this when praying or prophesying or doing such as I'm doing, reading a passage from the Bible and sharing that with you. And why men should uncover when doing those same things. Now, here's an interesting thing. Does not even nature itself teach you? Nature itself. What is nature? These two verses talk about why it makes sense for a woman to cover with a cloth covering, because it's what nature teaches. And nature teaches something very basic, that a woman has a natural covering, which is her hair. So having a natural covering, which is her hair, given to her by God, it makes sense for her to also put on a cloth covering, because it's consistent. But what I want to focus on today is not so much the cloth covering part, but it is the hair part. A woman's glory is her hair. And I want you to notice her hair is given to her for a covering. Who gave her hair to her for a covering? God did. God's the one who made us. He's the one who created Adam and Eve at the beginning. He's the one who made things the way they are. So God gave a woman's hair to her for a covering. That's what nature itself teaches us. Who created nature? God created nature. Nature is His creation. So when we read this passage, the way that it makes sense to understand it is that God created the world a certain way. He intended for a woman to have long, flowing, feminine hair. He intended for a man to have shorter hair. And when we go against these intentions that God set up from the beginning, we bring dishonor to ourselves. So if a man grows his hair long and flowing like a woman, that's a shame to him. If a woman cuts off her hair real short like a man would, that's a shame to her. So when women grow their hair out long, they're acting in a way that is in line with the way that God created us. People can go against that. People can go against nature. Women can cut their hair short and go against nature. Men can grow their hair long and go against nature. We see that in different cultures around the world where different people groups have gone against nature, but that doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean that they're acting in accordance with the way God created things. So I choose to grow my hair out long because it says my hair is a glory. Why not grow out something that's going to be a glory to me and bring honor to myself because I'm showing that, yes, I agree. I am a woman. God created me to be a woman. I agree with him that his creation is good. I agree with him that making me a woman was a good choice, and that I show that I'm in agreement with God, and that I love being what he made me to be by growing out my hair long and feminine and flowing. Some people will say that this passage isn't talking about nature, but culture and society. When it says, does not even nature itself teach you? Some people want to interpret that to mean, doesn't even culture itself teach you? But it doesn't say that. It says nature. Doesn't even nature itself teach you? Nature is something that doesn't change. Cultures change. Society's expectations change. The normal way of things, in society changes. Nature doesn't change, though, because God created it a certain way. So I would say that no matter how our culture changes, a woman should still have long hair, and a man should still have short hair. How long is long? Giselle, could you please take her to the other room for just a minute? That's my baby Ginger. Playing happily and all of a sudden not so happy. Where was I? Okay, how long is long? I'm trying to grow my hair out as long as I can, because I've never done that before. It's kind of an exciting thing. I always had this dream when I was little that I would grow my hair out super long until it got to my feet. That was a dream I had for years when I was little, this desire to do that, and I never did. I always ended up growing my hair out to, like, I don't know, maybe to here, and then I'd always get tired of it and just cut it short. Once I even cut my hair really, really short. I got it shaved up the back, and I got, well, it was like a couple inches long on the top, and I even kind of like, not spiked it, but I put gel in it. That was when I was around 13 or 14, and I have to tell you that I regretted that. Yeah, I know. I'll be there in a minute, Giselle. I really regretted that. I remember I wanted to try a new hairstyle because I thought it'd be cool and fun, and my mom, she let me do whatever I wanted to do. She said, you pick out which hairstyle you want. I'll take you to the beauty shop, tell them what you want, and let them, do it. So I told the lady who was going to trim my hair. I opened up the book and I showed her, the book with hairstyles. This is the style that I want. And at that time, I had hair that was like about down to here. And she looked at me incredulously, thinking, what is this girl going to do? Chop all her hair off? Oh my goodness. She even said to me, are you sure that you want to do this? That's a lot of hair. Are you sure you don't just want to go like up to here to your shoulders first and then try that out for a while? And then if you're fine with that, you can go up a little bit higher, maybe a little, jaw length bob or something. And I said, nope, I want to cut it all off. So she did. And my long strands of hair were scattered all around my chair. As people would come into the beauty salon, they would see this long brown hair on the floor, and they'd say, oh my goodness, that's a lot of hair to cut off. I think they felt sorry for me because I was cutting off all that beautiful long hair. And at the end of it, I felt so light. I didn't have all that hair. I felt so light, and it felt so fresh and so fun. And it didn't turn out exactly as I expected it to look, but it was fun and new. And I was okay with it for a while, until that day, until I got home. And then my dad took one look at me, and he was not happy. I could just tell. He just looked at me, and I think he may have said something like, what did you do? Or, why did you do that? And that was all he said, and he just walked off. And I think he was upset with me for cutting all my hair off. After that, I never cut my hair off again that short. There was a point when I was older, after I had my first child, where I was getting fed up with having to do my hair, and it was always getting in my way, and I cut it off to about, right here. But then there was other problems that came as a result of that, because when you have short hair, it's harder to pull it back into a ponytail, and when you lean over, it's always getting in your face. And so I decided to grow it out so I could at least put it in a ponytail or half up and half down. And after that, I trimmed it short maybe a couple more times, but never as short as I did that other time, you know, like a boy or something, only to about shoulder length. It wasn't until I started studying head covering and this passage from 1 Corinthians chapter 11 that I became convicted that I needed to head cover based on a study of this passage. It was the most reasonable way to understand the passage. And I also at the same time became convicted that no, I shouldn't be cutting my hair so short anymore. I need to have long hair. What long is, I can't say that I precisely know, because it doesn't say long hair down to her waist, or long hair down to her, thighs, or long hair down to her ankles. It doesn't say how long a woman's long hair should be. But I think that we can all agree on what is not long. All you have to do is go to a beauty salon, open up one of their, their style books, and you'll see a section entitled short hair. Okay, that's like here and up. Then you'll see another section entitled medium hair with different examples of medium hair. Well, that hair is about to the shoulder. That's medium hair. And then if you look at the section entitled long hair styles, it's usually below the shoulder, usually, down here or longer. And that's long hair. So I think it's pretty obvious what long hair is. Now, I understand that some women can't have very long hair because of hair issues. Sometimes their hair, if they let it get real long, it starts to get real thin because it's too heavy. Some women have hair loss. Some women have neck issues. I heard from a woman who was telling me she had a neck issue that she couldn't have her hair too long because it got too heavy, and it caused her to have a lot of neck pain and migraines. So believe me, I understand that. If growing your hair out long is going to give you migraines and it's going to make your neck hurt terribly, or if you have really thinning hair and it just makes it worse, I understand if you need to cut your hair shorter. But even if you cut your hair shorter, you don't have to cut it as short as a man would. You can still cut it, right up to here, to your shoulder, and it probably wouldn't be too heavy. And if you style it in a feminine style, I think that should be fine. However, I don't think that that's ideal, though, because I don't think that that's long hair. It's like a woman's partial glory, I think that it's consistent with what this passage teaches about hair being a woman's glory and about it being a natural covering for a woman to just grow her hair out as long as she can. But that's my thoughts on it. If other people think differently about hair lengths and they don't think we need to grow it out as long as we can, they only want to grow it out to here or wherever, I'm fine with that too, because I'm not really so much convicted about growing it out as long as I can. That's a preference. The part that I'm convicted about is that a woman should have long hair in contrast to a man having short hair, because that's what nature teaches us. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this and maybe got a little bit out of it. Giselle, why don't you bring Ginger over here? I'll show you baby Ginger because you heard her crying a little bit, so I might as well just show her to you. Hold on just a second. Here, give her to me. Okay. This is baby Ginger. She has beautiful blonde hair, and she's sucking on a lotion bottle, but it's not open. Don't worry, she can't get anything out. Okay, thank you so much. I would love it if you left some comments in the comment section below. Tell me how you cut your hair, if it is that you cut it on your own. Tell me what styles you like to use and what you think about the long hair on a woman versus the short hair on a man issue. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out my blog, again, it's truthathome.wordpress.com. Have a great day. Bye.